Welcome everybody to GitGud North America Season 7 in the Advanced Division. I'm Joe Razor, joined here by Dividing, and we have a playoff game here in between Team Eclipse and Scoob.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited to see this game today. These games today. I'll have two games on the docket for you. Both playoff games, both, I believe, losers bracket games. And that gives just an extra little bit of spice, I think, to what would normally be a fairly good game between two teams that aren't quite at the top of the standing, because this isn't just about wins and losses anymore, Joe. This is about survival.
Yeah, this game and our next one are both in the second round of the losers bracket. So you win, you can advance, but you lose and you go home here. So yeah, we had a bit of technical difficulties, but all the teams appear to be ready, and so I'm excited to get underway in this game. Scoob on Diva, last time we saw them, they were a very brawl-heavy team, but the meta's been shifting away from brawl. And so we talked about it a bit before the game that the meta it's in flux because Overwatch League is playing on a hero pool, so we don't have a really good grasp of what's meta when you have all the heroes involved. But first map's going to be Busan. It's a control map with three very distinct points.
Yeah, I think we're going to be able to see these teams play on a bunch of different kinds of comps on Busan. Like you mentioned, a very distinct. We see a lot of brawl on comps like Mecha Base because it is a little bit shorter, a little bit tighter corridors, lower ceilings. But then you have maps like Shrine and Downtown, which are very, very wide open and give flankers, long-range hit scans, even flying DPS, tons of room to work. I think Busan, which is Scoob Diva's favorite control map, by the way, will be very indicative of the match to come to see what these teams are most comfortable on.
Yeah, you mentioned a bit there with the maps. You normally see on, like you said, Mecha Base, it's a very brawl-heavy map. Expect to see some brawl there. Then you have Downtown, which is very interesting because it's very wide open, but there's like two main chokes that the teams run out of when they come out of their spawn, and those two are very close together. And so it looks like it could be good for long-range hit scan, but you normally see it dominated by more of these divey comps. And then you move over to Shrine, which does have extremely long sight lines to play with. And then that's when you see a lot of Widow or Ashe come into play, with whether that's with the double shield or the double bubble. So we could definitely see a mirror match on all 3 points with 3 different comps. So I'm excited to see what they're going to opt to run, but here we go. We're going to start on Shrine as our opening map.
Yep, Shrine, absolutely. As you mentioned, a map with tons of long sightlines. We tend to see a lot of ball comps being played here, along with the long-range hit scans like the Widows and the Ashes. Bubble is going to go ahead and lock that Widow to start off. However, a bit of a comp difference right now as Scoob Diva is opting for a Ball Sigma comp, while Team Eclipse, as long as they stick on this for the next 10 seconds, is going for a much more traditional sort of dive. We see this comp a lot in current Overwatch League.
Yeah, the Scoob Diva comp's a bit interesting. Normally you see this run with a Mercy, kind of this Sigma Ball poke, but instead we're going to see with a Brig. It provides a bit more survivability when you want to run the Zen and the Widow, so you can kind of puppy guard those two. But first to the point's going to be Team Eclipse, as Scoob Diva want to play this very, very slow and just open up sightlines for their DPS. Phone poking around the side. It's gonna be forced on back, though. Point's about to unlock. Wrecking Ball rolls through, makes a decent amount of space, but Widow is not able to hit the headshot needed. And so the cap's going to go over to Team Eclipse very early on. And then you're going to see the dive come through right onto Butt Monkey's opening kill. But the trades are there. The Scoob Diva comp, you can have a 4v6, a 5v6, and still be able to win these fights due to the fact that these characters, other than the Zen, are very individualistic.
Yeah, both these comps are very, very slow as the fight continues to rage on to the point.
Big
It
eat.
was, yeah, big eat from the Baby Seal. I must add a quick pulse bomb generation from Phone, but it is Team Eclipse that's going to be able to come out on top at the end here as they pick off the staggers. I think Team Eclipse just did a much better job of staying sort of together as that fight continued. Team Scoob on Diva kind of were forced to play really slow and try and set up for their DPS to pop off. Both these comps actually are really dependent on playing slow until their DPS gets picked. I think Team Eclipse did it much better. And their ult economy is, I think, in a little bit better shape as we head into this next fight with already 60% of the control in Team Eclipse's favor.
Yeah, due to the fact that Team Eclipse capped it very early, they were able to build up 30% while the fight was going on there. But a dive attempt comes through, and then the rock onto the Tracer is enough to take him down. We have the Flux as well, and it results in one. The remake kill onto Moiety makes this a winnable fight, but as soon as I say that, you see the trade come through. Trans is forced out. I don't really know if it was necessary, but there's not really a big ultimate that you'd use to counter it. So it's quite alright for Scoob on Diva, but in 2 fights, Team Eclipse have 90% on the point.
Yeah, of course, that early cap on the first point did wonders for Team Eclipse as being able to get so quickly to nearly pretty much one-fight territory. However, I think that went a little bit too aggressively there. Scoob on Diva's comp, very, very good at utilizing the poke damage combined with the Discord Orb from Ubi Pro to just melt enemy divers. So a bit of a comp mismatch there in that fight, and with the ult that Scoob on Diva has, they look in control for a little bit.
Oh! I was going to say the pulse bomb stick for Phone could be fight winning, but and you see the pulse bomb stick on the Scoob on Diva killed both of the supports, but the trades are there. Scoob on Diva, they're like, well, supports, you mean the most important role in long sustained team fights? No, we don't need those. As they somehow clutch that up.
Yeah, if I'm Soyshine, I'm slamming my desk right now. I killed both supports at the beginning of the fight, and you're telling me that we still didn't win. That's garbage. That's garbage. But yeah, Scoob on Diva did a fantastic job of being able to persist through that. Picks came through both directions, and Scoob on Diva now, honestly, if this fight goes as slow as the last couple fights, this is probably the last fight territory we're talking about here.
Yeah, we see the duplicate come through. I assume it was meant to go onto the Sigma, but accidentally hits the Zenyatta, so to build up to that trans baby, I mean, he's just only built up to now with 3 seconds to go. There's an opening kill there onto Phone, but the Tracer will be able to rejoin fairly quickly, especially if Scoob on Diva can sustain on this point. Cap's going to come over to Team Eclipse, though, as they only need a couple more percentages to close this out. And they only need a couple more kills, as they are removing everybody from Scoob on Diva's support line taken down. As Phone kills themselves with the pulse bomb, but the 2K from the Noon is good, but just nobody's able to get to the point. It's going to be Team Eclipse taking the first point, and I don't want to say dominating fashion, because it was still fairly close, but I feel like Scoob on Diva could have won that point if they didn't let Team Eclipse get 90% for free off of, like, 2 fights.
Yeah, Scoob on Diva needs to be playing a little bit faster here. I know their comms like to play a little bit slow, but at some point you just have to take initiative, say, okay, we're just going to go in, and we're going to just try and make something happen. Create space. Don't just wait for your DPS to make picks. Make space, make opportunities for your DPS to do so. As now we head into downtown and seeing mostly a mirror comp. However, Team Eclipse is going to run with a much more close-range, sort of brawly support to Moira Lucio, while Scoob on Diva will go with the on-upgrade.
Yeah, well, the Team Eclipse is running something similar to the 6-man dive we've been seeing a lot at the top level, but they're just going to be playing in this choke here, and this is going to favor Team Eclipse because, like you said, they have the much more brawly support line. At Scoob on Diva, I feel like they honestly may just be getting comp diffed here. They're going to struggle to fight against Team Eclipse's comp, especially on this type of point.
Yeah, I mentioned taking the initiative at the end of the last round, and Team Eclipse seems to have heard me with that Lucio pick. It's allowed them to play so much faster, so much more aggressive, and I don't think Scoob on Diva was quite ready for it. These speed boosts from Whip are just massive as you see them continuing to push further and further into Scoob on Diva's territory.
Yeah, I mean, Foe spent most of this round dead, and just they just need to figure out a way to break through this, and they have a Nano Boost available now, as they have been building up to, I mean, basically similar ultimates to what Team Eclipse have had, so it hasn't been a big, like, ultimate charge diff either, so Nano Boost is going to be there for the Monkey, and there it is. It's going to be thrown onto Eevee. They're going to try to make something happen, and then the sticky bombs from Phone are good to take down the Winston. Great opening pick there from Scoob on Diva, but there's a trade onto Phone, so it's a 1-for-1, but losing your main take can be detrimental in these circumstances, especially not. Both teams don't have the Echo. You have that one-player advantage for Scoob on Diva. They're going to try to capitalize on that, moving over to the point, and they take down Soy Shine. Rally is in what is still a fairly close fight, but Scoob on Diva are taking the initiative to close this out, and they will be doing so successfully, as it's just now stall for Team Eclipse.
Yeah, nice primal from Eevee as we watch him just clean up this point right now. It's just Soyshine trying to get a couple more percentage points, and Team Eclipse will get off once again with a respectable 80%, putting themselves in one-fight territory if they manage to take the point again, as we look into this next fight. And honestly, two ults coming up from either side, as well as the flex supports of UB Pro and Clap. They will probably have their ultimates this fight as well. Things are pretty even.
Yeah, we're going to see the duplicate come through onto the Diva, one of the most powerful duplicate targets in the game. Gonna get demeched, and actually gets taken down. Diva Bomb is able to be deployed, but no remech, as that's a great kill there onto Moiety. The dive through from Soy Shine, not able to take down UB Pro, just barely staying alive at the back. Point's gonna be flipped over, so Nano Boost has been applied onto Eevee, trying to find anything, but it's just being kited out. The pulse bomb gets thrown in, as it results in the death of UB Pro, as Team Eclipse are 10% away, and 4 kills from taking this opening map.
Yeah, and what was key in that fight is Team Eclipse actually managed to push Scoob on Diva off of the point and take it before the fight had actually ended. And because of that, they were able to build up to 99 and now 100% on the point before Scoob on Diva could even get back with stall picks. I mean, their aggressive playstyle, I think, really took Scoob on Diva for a loop here, as we see them able to really take control of this first map.
Yeah, well done there by Team Eclipse. And both rounds, while they were somewhat close, I feel like Team Eclipse's compositions they're running just allowed them to be a bit quicker with their decision making. And sometimes the slower comps, the slower playstyle works, but it's I think currently this playing slow, you're just gonna get smashed. When you have these comps with have the super mobile backlines, and they could just avoid getting dove by the comp that we saw Scoob on Diva try to run there on downtown, right? That comp wants to dive the backline and then get out and then kill the rest of the team, essentially. But when you're running Boy or Lucio, you can't dive the backline when they're all like huddled up on the Winston. And so it just makes it very hard to do much of anything in those situations.
Yeah, and it's really, really tough for Scoob on Diva to just exist as a full sixth when they're playing with a comp that, while it's powerful in its poke potential with the Zenyatta and the damage with Echo and Tracer, it's also very, very fragile. They tried a couple different things to try and give support for their Zenyatta, but it was actually Phone who got picked off a lot, especially on downtown, very early by the Diva on Team Eclipse. I feel like Scoob's comp, like you mentioned, they wanted to play very, very slowly. They wanted to be able to sort of take the push from Team Eclipse's dive and then sort of push back with their ult. And I only really saw that work once on what was the first map called? It's Shrine. They really saw it once on Shrine, and other than that, Scoob on Diva really just couldn't take Team Eclipse's pushes, and it became, obviously when you lose a member that early, it becomes very difficult to pull out a win.
Yeah, but Scoob on Diva are now ready to answer back with their map selection as we move over to Escort, and it's going to be Junkertown, a map that's been reintroduced to the pool recently, and we see teams like to run it a lot. I think mainly because it's a map where its individual skill wins on this map, 9 times out of 10. The team that has the better Widowmaker and then the better flex support tend to be able to take these Junkertown maps. So I am very excited to see what will most likely be a Widow matchup. And I'm interested to see what comps they want to try to run here because, like I said, Widow is very prevalent on this map, but it's not a must pick like it once was.
Yeah, not necessarily. Of course, Junkertown first, home to several long sightlines that sniper characters can take advantage of. However, you can play a bunch of different things on this map. Double Shield is obviously a setup that we see run a lot. However, you could potentially get away with a sort of double bubble if that's what you prefer. I do expect to see a lot of Widowmaker on this map, and if this is Scoob on D.Va's pick, I get the feeling that that is very much towards what they believe, at least, to be their strengths. I think there's someone on this team that is hiding a lethal Widowmaker just waiting to be released. Not sure who that is yet. We didn't really see that much Widow on Busan. I think Scoob on D.Va showed it for the first fight of Shrine, and then when they lost the fight, they swapped to McCree. So hopefully that player will get a little bit more time. I think it was Popple or something. They'll get a little bit more time to show off their sniper expertise.
I mean, yeah, as somebody who is a hit scan player and then plays flex support because gets tired of long queue times,
Happens.
Junkertown's, anytime I play Pugs, I'm always like, can we play Junkertown? Because I just want to play Widow, man. I just want to get to click heads, and but yeah, so I'm excited to see what each team's gonna bring. But yeah, I believe it was Purple who did run that Widow for the
it was
opening
Purple.
map, and so I'm interested to see if they want to run that again. On the defense, they're gonna run a Hog Zarya. Okay, this is a
I wouldn't take this at face value yet. The game hasn't technically started yet.
Okay. You are correct. I did not realize that.
Here we go. Now I think we can take this at face value and see. But yeah, as you see those famous long sight lines of Junkertown, Popple did briefly luck in the Ash before everyone's spawns got reset there. So I'll be very interested to see if he sticks on it. Ash is obviously a very interesting pick because not as much focus on the one-shot potential that Widow is, but is able to do a lot of poke damage, both with her sniper and with her dynamites. Currently showing the Bastion, I very much doubt that is what we're going to be sticking with. Team Eclipse, however, is running that double hit scan comp that we know and love.
Yeah, double hit scan. Normally see a Hanzo instead of the McCree, but we're going to see the McCree and Soy Shine.
Yeah, the McCree's a very interesting pick, I think. A little bit more of a mid-range kind of thing. Usually you'd want to maybe have a Hanzo in that situation, but this might just be a comfort thing, and having that extra stun is, I think, very rarely a bad thing. We are going to be seeing a Widow 1v1 coming out between Popple and Snarl, who is taking a very aggressive angle here. Headshot on the Moiety, but is not quite enough to take him out.
Yeah, not quite fully charged there, so not able to get it. If that was the old charge time for Widow's gun, then Popple would have been able to get it, but it wins the Widow 1v1 there. Really nice opening. It's your main job there, is to take down get these opening picks, and Popo's looking for more, gets a tag. They're not going to give him a peek. Phones and Spawn's going to switch over to the Hanzo that we mentioned a bit earlier. So we're going to see similar comps, but they both will do the same thing, just have different ways of getting that done. And Popo goes down to Soy Shine, so not the Widow engagement loss, but that is to a different hit scan. And so now it's going to... But Scoob and D.Va are still able to take this space because they want to... Team Eclipse wants Scoob on D.Va to push this card a bit forward to give the Widow a bit more sightlines.
Yeah, you see Team Eclipse being forced to push back over and over, but Soyshine manages to get another pick now onto Phone. So this should be the go sign for Scoob on Diva to try and make sure we don't, sorry, for Team Eclipse, to make sure we don't see a very early first point cap. That stunned up like 5 people. Nicely done, Soyshine.
Yeah, but Scoob on Diva are getting a nice re-engage. I thought Team Eclipse were just gonna be able to run over this, but Scoob on Diva come back into this fight and get the frags they need, and they will be able to get a capture of first point. And then Snow will switch over to a Hanzo here. I imagine Soyshine sticks on the agree.
Alright, yeah, I think big thing when you're playing against these double shield sniper comps for Team Eclipse, you can't bite off more than you can chew. Obviously, you go in a little bit too far, you go in, you make yourself available to a couple too many sight lines, and all of a sudden, your head's been taken off, and the fight is completely swapped into the other team's favor, and that is exactly what we saw there, as what looked like a Team Eclipse fight goes straight in the other direction.
Yeah, good flux there to start off, but there's a Transcendence from UV Pro to keep everybody alive. Dragon Strike from Phone finds one before Snow went to Hanzo 1v1, and is looking for an angle onto Popol. Team Eclipse are still have good card presence, however, as they need to be, but they can't really take aggressive peeks to Popol, and the Storm Arrow kills the Mid-Air Widow. Very nicely done there by Snow to take down that very scary presence, but the kills are still going the way of the defensive side mostly. The offensive side, excuse me.
Yeah, Scoob on Diva just seemed very, very comfortable with pushing through here. Their DPS players are playing very confidently as well. Scooby Pro very quietly getting himself a nice double kill there. Yeah, they're playing super confidently right now, and that's what you need to play when you're doing this sort of comp. Even if you've lost the Widow 1v1 3 times in a row, you need to play like you've won it every time, because if you don't play these heroes with confidence, you will lose, and you see that with Snell going on crazy flanks and Popple going in the air like every 5 seconds.
Yeah, Bob Monkeys actually takes down Cellophane, who was caught off on the high ground there, so it's a nice start. I mean, look at those pop shots. How many times has Popple gone for those?
He hasn't been punished yet, so, I mean, you may as well.
It was punished once, but it's just, I would continue going for them, because like you mentioned, having confidence on those heroes is key. But Monkeys, that was a flux. It's going to hit 3 players, and they're all going to drop. Scoob on Diva looking good to cap up Junkertown with nearly 4 minutes here, because as Team Eclipse are just getting completely smashed on their defense.
Yeah, and Butt Monkey, also known as the famous Scoob, has been a quiet carry for this team so far. His Gravitic Fluxes have been absolutely massive for this team.
Yeah, and then there's a high noon from Phone to try to close this out there. Finds one player. Bongo's thrown as well. Eevee nearly close, able to keep him alive, however, and takes down Cellophane. High noon as a desperation attempt from Soyshine to find any kills. Finds absolutely nothing, so not quite 4 minutes, but instead it's going to be 3:30. I'd be pretty happy with that if I'm Scoob on Diva. I mean, that's just such a dominant attack.
That is a fantastic time from Scoob on Diva. After a little bit of struggles, it seemed, at the beginning, I think Scoob on Diva really were able to put their comp together. Popple and Phone very much won the hit scan duels between them and Snow and Soyshine. I also, like I said, Scoob did a fantastic job on the Sigma, which I also must say, why have you lied to us, Scoob on Diva? Scoob is currently on Sigma, and that makes me sad. You've lied. But I can't stay mad at it too long because he's doing a fantastic job on this hero so far. And interestingly, Team Eclipse, if they stick on this comp, is actually going to match the Hanzo that Phone was showing in that first map. Sorry, not the Hanzo, the McCree.
Yeah.
Shows that maybe they think that mid-range, the consistent mid-range damage, as well as the stun, is what's giving them a huge advantage right now.
Yeah, I mean, Phone started on the Tracer, I believe, then swapped over to Hanzo, I mean, like 10 seconds into the round. Popel is getting ready for a jump shot. Is expecting a jump shot to come out. Not going to be gifted it. Snow is going to go for kind of this side angle that you see quite a lot. So Scoob on D.Va just going to play back, hope they can get a pick, and for Team Eclipse to move towards them. Good haul onto Butt Monkey, not able to take him down, however, able to use that kinetic grasp to keep himself alive. Kart's going to be trying to move underneath this bridge. Another great pull, a headshot from Snow as well onto Butt Monkey, brings him quite low, but able to stay alive, and Phone is caught out of position, away from the shields, away from the rest of his team. So they will drop. Soyshine picks up a double. And there's one trade comes back from Popel, but I don't think they have the sustainability and the rest of the players that they need to really make this work. But Popel finds a second.
Popel has found a second, and now Scoob on D.Va has committed the Amp Matrix, and I don't think Team Eclipse was ready for this much pushback. They did not give the Amp Matrix the respect it deserves, and Scoob on D.Va is actually going to be able to push back in here. Now, I do want to mention that Team Eclipse did a very good job with the early aggression. They forced Scoob on D.Va off the high ground early, and because of that, they were able, Eclipse was able to take a ton of space. However, Scoob on D.Va did a much better job of regrouping and getting back together very quickly. Phone, interestingly, swaps to a Reaper, going for much more close-up damage. Oh, what a shot from Popel, now just completely owning this map right now. This is like the 5th pick he's gotten.
I mean, yeah, he was a bit quiet on the attack, but now on the defense just completely dominating the server. There's another one. And so, great stuff there for Popel. Scoob on D.Va's just gonna try to stay on back here and wait for a push from Team Eclipse. Good haul. No, the headshot does come through on Stealthane, but no kill. Waiting for the haul for this high noon. He actually pops it a bit early, so Soyshine does. Shields have been completely shattered for Scoob on D.Va, so now Team Eclipse are able to. They're to move towards the cart. I believe that is the Reaper of Phone stuck in the back. It should be okay due to the fact that they have that Wraith form. But Soyshine's gonna drop. Now this is the go button for Scoob on D.Va to try to get these players who are trying to make it out with their lives, but instead they're just going to be sent back to the spawn room.
Yeah, and we see Phone getting super aggressive here with this Reaper pick. Not really, I think, doing much as far as the damage side, as we see that ultimate is going up very slowly, but is doing a lot to dissuade Team Eclipse from pushing up. Just that close range damage is too much of a threat for Team Eclipse to go unnoticed. And it's making sure that Team Eclipse can't go as aggressive as they want to, and making so many opportunities for Popel.
I mean, yeah, Popel finds another kill there on someone's Stealthane. Just getting that damage from the supercharger. And now Scoob on D.Va trying to keep the pressure applied. Good accretion. Butt Monkey's now is about to have this flux. And you can pull that flux up, and then just create so many sightlines for your Widowmaker, and Popel nearly hits the grapple shot, gets the body, but not the head. Last fight here for Team Eclipse, trying to make anything happen.
Yeah, we are in last fight territory for Team Eclipse. They've been rebuffed again and again, and they need to get aggressive here. And a nice little off angle here with the Amp Matrix. They found the tank line.
Yeah, Butt Monkeys was killed while the Gravitic Flux was being activated, so just not available. And so Team Eclipse, looking down and out, rebound. Butt Monkeys just switch over to the Wrecking Ball for some reason. And then switches to Sig, but it doesn't really matter as they didn't have any ult charge. So, doesn't really lose much there, but really nicely done there from Scoob on D.Va, from Team Eclipse, excuse me.
No one can hide.
Yeah, nice play there from Team Eclipse. The off angle with the Amp Matrix. Scoob on D.Va, I don't think was expecting that. Caught the tank line lacking, I'll tell you that. As now we head into this dreaded streets phase. If you're on the offense here, there's so much high ground here for the defense to take advantage of, and Soyshine has already been caught out.
Yeah, really nice start there. Taking down Soyshine, and so it just looks like Team Eclipse are going to need to play a bit more passive wait for their McCree.
Yeah, without the McCree, they're going to have to play back and be a little bit more passive, make sure that no more picks come through. As they do have the trans to work with. Yeah, an aggressive angle coming out from Popple. But it puts some pressure there onto Wipe, but it will not be enough to force out the trans. I'm sure Team Eclipse knows that, Scoob on Diva knows they have it, and they're looking to try and force it out before Phone uses his Death Blossom here, if they can.
Yeah, I mean, Phone had to pop their Wraith form to try to get in, and it works out to perfection. And then follow-up shot for Popple. With the help of the Flux, what a shot on the snow! Oh my days. Popple taking over the server. It's Scoob and Diva are looking fairly good here. 40 seconds left for Team Eclipse.
Yeah, I mean, this is just better Widow wins right now. Popple has been popping off this entire defense. This Widowmaker has just been devastating as now we see Phone getting ready for a flank Death Blossom. The team doesn't see him. They're going to combo it in with the Flux, and it takes down Snarl before the trans can come out. Beautiful plays from Scoob on Diva.
And then a follow-up as soon as the Transcendence fades, there's a shot from Popple. It's now 10 seconds remaining. You can hear Athena say that anybody can get to the cart. It's gonna be an attempt from Soystein. Nobody's gonna be able to make it.
And Papa with one last headshot to send us off here. Scoob on Diva will tie up the series.
Yeah, such great work there from Scoob on Diva, and Popple dominated their defensive side. Not so much the attack, but the defense. When he had the sight lines to work with, he made use of them to perfection, and see a Flux here from Scoob himself. Very nicely done. And on their attacking side, while it wasn't Popple who put in the work, it was really Butt Monkeys or Scoob who really was the MVP of that first round for Scoob on Diva. So I'm excited to see what else they're able to bring.
Yeah, Scoob definitely, I think, a bit of an unsung hero there. Of course, Popple popping off all over the place, getting headshot after headshot. But more often than not, we saw Scoob getting off nice fluxes, nice shields. They were able to... he was able to put his Widowmaker in a position to pop off. Let's just say that. It's difficult to just be a Widowmaker and get headshots without the rest of the team giving you space, giving you abilities, displacing the enemy so that you can, in fact, click those heads, especially up here in the Expert Division where everyone understands positioning, understands rotation, stuff like that. So I think, Popple, fantastic job, but we have to give props to the rest of the team as well, because they're doing a great job of making sure he can pop off like that.
Yeah, there were so many times where, due to a hole, that it just opened up a shot for Popple to hit, just like pulling them out from behind cover, behind the shield. So really nicely done there by the tank line and the supports to set everybody up for success. But that's going to be it for our opening two maps. It's not it for us, though, as we will be heading to a quick break. And then we will be back with the conclusion of the series. Don't go anywhere, as this has been a very fun series to watch so far. Welcome back, everybody, to GitGud North America in the Advanced Expert Division, in the playoffs here. I am Joe Razor, joined here by Dividing, and we have a tied series here, 1-1 in between Scoob on Diva and Team Eclipse.
Yeah, we just came off of a beautiful display of Widowmaker prowess coming out from Popple from Scoob on Diva, completely locked down their attack. However, Junkertown's a bit of an anomaly of a map. You don't really see Widowmakers totally taking control of a map like we saw him do anywhere else, least of all King's Row, which is where we're going to be going next.
Yeah, King's Row, next map here, very brawl heavy. So we've been seeing a lot of Winston, and I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing the Reinhardt come through. the Winston comps are more brawl-like now that we see, and less of your traditional like 2016 dive. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Winston, but I would expect to continue to see the Reinhardt.
Nah, I would expect the Reinhardt here. Teams love to play the Reinhardt, especially due to King's Row's, the tight corridors, the sharp corners. All that really does sort of lend itself well to Mr. Big Rectangle Man himself. As now, I mean, this is going to be... I'm really interested to see how this goes. Because we really haven't seen either of these teams play super committed to Brawl. We haven't really seen the Rein Zarya, Rein D.Va kind of comps. I am super interested to see who comes out on top here. As, wow, look! It's Scoob and he's on D.Va! Incredible! We finally got there.
Yeah. Finally picking the D.Va. D.Va's very powerful in the current meta. One of the most powerful off tanks in the game. Well, cash register. That's a pretty neat cash register.
Yeah,
it's
very
like,
steampunkish. I like it.
Yeah, you could tell it's like they're in the future and they want to feel like they're old.
Yeah. The 90s kids of the Overwatch dimension. You can do it. You can do it on your whatever your iPad or whatever they use in this universe. But yeah, both teams coming out with, mirror matchups coming up between both teams. The very traditional McCree-Mei brawl that has dominated the meta over the last 6 or so months. Both these teams probably very practiced in this kind of gameplay.
Yeah, they're gonna start to go in. Mei was pretty good, buys them a lot of space. Team Eclipse 1 tick, looking for a second. They're gonna get it for free. Is there gonna be a re-engage from Scoob on D.Va? I would hope so. And it does come through last minute. And Team Eclipse wreck them. Everybody falls, and the brawl is just outright. I mean, that was a dominant first point.
It was a dominant first point, and I'm a little confused as to why Scoob on D.Va just opted to back up past the statue when Team Eclipse started to push forward. You really want to make sure that you are at the very least contesting them at the statue, because if you don't and back up to the hotel, you open yourself up to so many different sight lines to get battered from. And, we saw that happen with Team Eclipse. They just pushed up, were able to sort of spread out, and Eevee couldn't block all the damage.
Yeah, I mean, the shatter comes through from Cellophane, and before I even get to talk, the fight's over. Scoob on D.Va just being decimated here, as the cart's going to continue to march forward. One more fight here available for second.
Yeah, this is a masterclass here from Team Eclipse so far, showing that aggression that is just so key in these brawl comms. However, the silver lining here from Scoob on D.Va is that while they did lose, they lost without using any ultimates. So they will be coming into this one pretty much with all 6 ultimates online, while Team Eclipse will be without 2 of them.
Yeah, they will be missing a couple of their ultimates here, and they try to go in, and they're getting dominated once again. 550 for them to capture third point. There's been 3 fights.
Yeah, again, Scoob on D.Va are just crumbling to the aggression of Team Eclipse. Snarl uses the Blizzard super early. Phone gets caught out and it taken down. At that point, without the Blizzard, there's almost no point to contest anymore. Scoob on D.Va has not used a single ult yet until this high noon from Popple. That's insane.
Yeah, they try to go aggressive with the Blizzard. I believe it should work, and it does take down Snow. Good opening there, and they're gonna finally get a fight win and be able to stabilize.
Yeah, Scoob on D.Va finally sort of taking the initiative in one of these fights. Phone uses the Blizzard super early. Actually, a nice wall there, trying to pick off Cellophane, but will not do so as we now head into this next fight. And again, I mean, the silver lining here is that Scoob on D.Va not using ultimates means they have a lot of them. However, Team Eclipse has built up quite the ult pool of their own.
Ooh, what a D.Va bomb! Perfect placement, Immortality Field out of position a bit late. Pin comes through with the shatter as well. Completely dominated. Just
Yeah,
stall now for Scoob on Diva.
Yeah, you hate to see just a dry Diva Bomb getting 2 in a situation like that, and then the Shatter from Cellophane landing. It's just nightmare scenarios right now for Scoob on Diva.
Yeah, it's just not looking too good. High Noon, gonna come out, not gonna get anything. In this small room, they do manage to find 1 kill there, and the Blizzard, though, is thrown in from Team Eclipse. 1 kill. But looks like it's gonna be it. Scoob goes off the edge. He gets demech with the remech. That's a weird thing to say, as it's looking like Team Eclipse are gonna be forced to fall back here, as the respawn advantage is there for the defense.
Yeah, the longer this fight goes, the more it will benefit Scoob on Diva. Phone being able to hang on to their Blizzard and use it second is actually massive for allowing Scoob on Diva to come back onto the point quickly and get them this stabilization. However, Team Eclipse will be coming back again with that bomb and shatter that completely destroyed them last time they were in this point. It's the same bomb. Is it going to do it again?
Oh my god.
It does.
It finds 1 this time, and then there's the shatter immediately after. I mean, it's deja vu all over again. This time it's not quite as good as it was, and then the counter pin comes through from Cellophane, and then there's the Diva Bomb. And so it just finds 2. That's a reset, and Scoob and Diva have managed to get a pretty nice hold here on 3rd.
That was a beautiful stun onto Cellophane. Was it the Rhyme pin that did it? Was it a pin bomb?
Yeah, it was a pin bomb.
That was beautiful stuff there from Eevee in order to open up the sight lines for Scoob's bomb. As now, Team Eclipse doesn't have that bomb shatter anymore. They're going to have to just work with the Blizzard, which, well, I mean, that's still scary in its own.
Yeah, depending before any ultimates are thrown out, then you have Blizzards used from both sides. The results of Soy Shine's death. But the kills are still going to go the way of the offense, as to drop near boop off the edge, but just able to stay on. It's a 4v5 on the point, and the defense does have the spawn advantage. So the fact that there's no kills, and now the style barrier for Scoob on Diva, there's the counter barrier. But the fact is, Scoob on Diva just have the spawn advantage, and then they have the ultimates to make this work. Shatter comes through, and it is still an even fight despite all of this. I feel like at this point, Scoob on Diva should be coming out on top, and it looks like they may be able to do so here, as it's not anybody left, and so they finally take this very, very long fight.
Yeah, if you're a Reinhardt, you have like one job that is the most important, and that is to never take your eyes off of the opposite number, the opposite Reinhardt. You always have to be keeping tabs of where they are. Unfortunately, Cellophane let themselves get a little bit distracted, got taken off guard by the Shatter, and by the time when Cellophane went down, that was it. What a beautiful shot from Phone. I mean, that fight's just over.
Yeah, Soy Shine was very out of position, so it just gets picked off. But like you said, nice shot from Phone, and that's the fight. They had nearly 6 minutes, Team Eclipse did, to capture 3rd point, and now they have 50 seconds.
Yeah, this has been some beautiful stalling play here from Scoob on Diva at least 3 times during this attack. I thought this has got to be the time that Team Eclipse is able to push it across, but it just hasn't happened yet. And here we see Phone with another very creative spot to try and get a Blizzard on the ground. I don't think Team Eclipse sees him. Just up on the window up there. Oh no! Yeah. Maybe still does see him.
Yeah, great eat there onto the Blizzard. The kills are still going to go the way of Scoob on Diva, though. They find 2, make that a 3rd, and even if they were on the way to lose that fight, the fact is, if you get like 2 kills there on the defense on a map like King's Row, you're able to get the respawns and get back into the fight. Now, it looks like Team Eclipse made up. They probably will end up capturing it. It's going to be struggle to touch here. It's going to be on the Lucio, but he drops to the High Noon. Nobody else is going to be able to get there. The Team Eclipse came into 3rd point with 5:55 and come out with 67 meters.
Yeah, and oh man, if Scoob on Diva is able to beat this attack, right? If they're able to win this map, Team Eclipse is going to look back at this and they're going to be so upset. If you are crossing into point C with almost 6 minutes on the clock. That is like almost guaranteed, at the very least, you're going to finish the map. But Scoob on Diva did a great job of being able to sort of repel Team Eclipse's advances there. The kind of play that I think we wanted to see on earlier maps when they were playing other comps just didn't quite happen. And I think that it worked out a lot better for them here in this sort of brawl environment with a much more tanky and durable composition. As now, Scoob on Diva, I mean, it's still a pretty decent attack from Team Eclipse, don't get me wrong, but Scoob on Diva, I think, are in a pretty decent position to potentially take this map and open up a series lead. As both teams seem to be locking just about the same thing. I'll be interested to see if Papa will stick on the Sim and Scoob on the Sigma, but...
I like the Sigma pick. I think with the Sim Extra as well, allows you to get right up into their face, and you still have a lot of utility that the Diva provides. They're actually just going to go to the high ground, so I thought they were going to kind of play how you saw the Dallas Fuel play, where they just use the TP to get straight into the other team's face, but instead they're going to just use it to take the high ground, then immediately give it up. So kind of
yeah, but I think it was just intimidation tactics there, because of that we see Team Eclipse just giving so much space over. Scoob on Diva can push up onto the point pretty much.
Yeah, you're right. They're able to just push up and get an opening there to Soy Shine. Good start. They need to just try to make sure to keep the Hanzo alive, as you can hear Popel say, I need healing. We'll pretend that was in Hanzo's voice. There's a couple stuck back into the hotel there, but they're not really falling. 2 kicks have been gained. Even on the back, Baby Seal putting a lot of pressure onto the front line. The Mortality Field thrown in, nearly taken out. It's going to be Phone that falls. Matrix is there with the Flux as well. Flux catches 3 players, but it's on the backside. But it does not matter, because Scoob has enough damage himself to make them draw. Picks up 4K. Absolutely dominates the opposition. Scoob on Diva with a first point capture.
Yeah, what a play. What nice play there from Scoob on Diva. A little bit unorthodox from what we see usually on King's Row. However, I think doing that really put Team Eclipse on the back foot from second 1. Doing that little TP play onto the high ground, even if it didn't accomplish much in itself, as they just sort of went down main anyways, Scoob on Diva was really able to push on that aggression as Team Eclipse were just trying to figure out what exactly they were doing.
Yeah, Dragon Strike thrown in, splits them apart pretty well. Blizzard, though, keeps really any capitalization of that space, but the Shatter's good, but the Sound Barrier, from what there to keep everybody alive now. The offensive Sound Barrier, Diva Bomb catches Phone, but they throw out their Blizzard right before they drop, but it just is, it's gonna buy them space, and split up is Team Eclipse. They were kind of split up into 2 different 3-player pods, but they're able to stabilize and get out. And Scoob on Diva are, while they did lose that fight, they still are in a good spot to make something work.
Yeah, they were able to push the cart past this choke point, which I think is a good thing overall. It allows them a little bit more space to work with. That choke to start second point is so terrible. As we do see them coming back with the Gravitic Flux and the Ant Matrix, probably the Hanzo Dragon Strike as well. Team Eclipse pretty much is going to be looking for a big shatter from Stellafane. Other than that, they really aren't working with much going into this fight. This should be Scoob on Diva coming out on top.
Yeah, Flux is there, and then the Dragon Strike right below, but Immortality is there to keep them up for now, but as soon as it fades, everybody drops. And Dividing, that's a combo that's been in the game ever since they released Sigma.
Yeah, valiant effort from Clap with the Immortality Field, but as soon as that went down, Scoob on Diva were able to just roll through with the devastating damage. Whip did not quite have the Sound Barrier up yet, but he will have it up this fight, as well as Clap's Ant Matrix. But Ubi Pro is going to go very aggressive with his.
Yeah, and it still gets dropped. Good stuff there. Shatter blocked there, so not completely out of it, but you lose those 2 players very early on. Just get spelled doom to your fight, and it does. Scoob and Diva capturing up second point. Very nicely done. Now they'll have around 4 minutes to make third work.
Yeah, not quite as good as Team Eclipse up to this point, but it's still a very, very good attack so far as they continue to push forward with Scoob and Diva and get picks. Really not allowing Team Eclipse to get set up is key here, as they are coming in with 5 ultimates, Team Eclipse is, so I think they're likely going to win this next fight, but the more cart push that Scoob and Diva can accomplish before we get there is definitely going to be beneficial as we move into the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, they're gonna see blizzards come up from both sides. There's sound barrier from Eclipse trying to keep everybody alive. The shatter! Fate drops the hammer. It forces Scoob and Diva to rethink their plans of attack.
Oh, you gotta kill Phone here, right? He's blocked in by the other Diva. Alright, yes. Okay, Phone is
That's
going to go down. Kill. They were not able to survive much longer. Of course, made the Queen of Stalls, but not quite going to be able to live through that. Now we go into another fight. Scoob and Diva is going to go aggressive, and they should. They have the Flux Dragon combo once again, and they know Whip doesn't have the beat.
Yeah, the immortality barely keeping everybody alive. Stop trying to do it, but he has to reload, so one player does drop, and now the aggression's going to come through. Phone with great icicle there onto Soy Shine.
Oh no, and I don't think anyone from Team Eclipse is even going to be able to touch here. They're pretty much forced on the stall heroes now. Yeah, that's going to be it.
Yeah, it's Scoob and Diva going up 2-1 in the series. One more map, and they will be sending Team Eclipse home out of the tournament, but Scoob and Diva are looking good.
Yeah, and you've got to be so sad about that if you're on Team Eclipse, you're a Team Eclipse fan. Just knowing how many opportunities you had to push the cart across the finish line there in Point C, and you just weren't quite able to do it. I think for their credit, Scoob and Diva did a fantastic job in that situation. There's a lot of pressure there when you lose the first 2 points that quickly to stabilize, but they did a good job. They didn't lose confidence. I think that's very important. We saw Phone going for flank blizzards like every other fight, and I thought that was great of them. But with 6 minutes on the clock, you have to think, there were definitely opportunities for Team Eclipse to finish the map, and they just couldn't do it. Because of that, Scoob and Diva is going to go ahead and take the lead for the first time in this series.
Yeah, Scoob and Team Eclipse, had 6 minutes to capture a third point. I mean, you essentially need to win. Due to the fact that Scoob and Diva tried to contest last minute on second, they needed to win one fight and a stall fight, and they were unable to do that. And so, and it wasn't necessarily because they were making bad decisions. Scoob and Diva were just outplaying them in those fights, and so it's I think it shows that Scoob and Diva are not easily shaken. And it gives me good confidence for the rest of this game and the rest of the playoffs as well. So I'm excited to see what they're able to do on our next map. It's going to be a 2CP, everybody's favorite map type. And this will be Team Eclipse's pick, as it is loser's pick.
Yeah, it is in fact loser's pick. According to their stat sheet, their favorite 2CP map is Volskaya. We'll see if that's where they're actually going to go, or if their strategy wants to take them another way. If I'm Team Eclipse, I'm thinking, okay, where was I able to find success earlier in the series on Busan? And when that happened, it was when you were playing the sort of ball Sigma comps, and you were able to sort of take advantage of a Scoob and Diva comp that wanted to play really, really slowly. So they will go with Volskaya. So we will see if that sort of play style will come back for Team Eclipse, because that is where they were able to find the most success in the past.
Yeah, Volskaya Industries is their map selection. See what they're able to do on it. It's a one of the most picked map types. Not map types, but most picked maps from this map type, along with Hanamura, of course. So I'm interested to see what they're gonna choose to run, because overall it is still more of a brawl map. I think most of the 2CP maps are. But
Yeah.
it does have a bit of leeway with what you're able to run.
Yeah, Volskaya is, default more brawly, but you can definitely get away with a lot of things on Volskaya, especially Volskaya A, where things are a lot more open. On B, you go into an area with sort of closed ceilings, and tighter sort of corridors, sort of just a straight line to the point there on main, so it's a little more difficult to run sort of flanky comps instead of just straight on brawl comps, but on point A you can definitely get away with a lot of different stuff. As we currently see an Echo coming out on the side of, I believe that's Scoob on D.Va starting out on the defense. I'm correct. Yes. Okay, cool.
I really like the Scoob on D.Va comp. I think they will struggle. I mean, we saw, actually, now that I see their support line, I don't like it as much. We saw them struggle to run the same composition on Busan, and they were just honestly getting comp diffed by Team Eclipse's more brawly. Like, it was the same comp, just with a different backline. And that backline just, with Despoiler Lucio, is just, you could just play. What Scoob on D.Va's comp want to do is they want to kill the backline. You cannot kill a Moira you cannot dive a Moira Lucio.
This is just Busan downtown all over again. These are the exact same comps, the exact same matchup, but this time its style gets caught out early by Phone, so at least a decent start here on the defense for Scoob on D.Va.
Yeah, but speaking of Scoob, who is on D.Va, gets taken out there, so 1-for-1 trade. There's a nice kill there on Estelle, however. So it's a fairly even fight so far. Bonus, if they could find one kill onto one of the supports, that could spell doom to this fight, and does successfully. There's a trade there. Snow is able to catch out Fun with the focusing beam. Quite a powerful ability, especially on those low health targets. Anti-nade to Baby Seal, however, as D.Va bomb already. You build ultimates quite quickly in this composition, but then it's going to be Snow who capitalizes on the space created by that bomb. It's going to be Team Eclipse looking fairly good to capture a first point, but Scoob on D.Va want to stick around and stall.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing this sort of, the way these comps are interacting with each other right now is like the exact same as we saw on Busan 3 maps ago. We see Scoob on D.Va wanting to play a lot slower, but they just keep on getting picked off over and over again by the sort of more brawly version of this comp that Team Eclipse is currently running. Now, they're able to get the picks, which means no snowball potential really here for Team Eclipse. But they're just able to rush into one place and hold it. And Scoob on D.Va, it becomes very difficult for them to be able to sort of stay alive, as, you know, the whole point of Overwatch is to hold and contest certain points on the map. So, you know, it becomes very difficult.
Yeah, duplicates there onto the D.Va is going to be the selected target. Coalescence now thrown in onto the back. Nano boost as well onto Eevee, so a lot of ultimates for Scoob on D.Va. They try to push in. Oh, Eevee uses the rival rage to get back onto onto the ground. Stays alive with it, very nicely done there, and then gets a kill on the Stellafade. He's making moves out here, making plays. And the post-bomb to the back kills too, however. I mean, Bone got an environmental kill with the D.Va.
Yeah.
Joel's trying to make something happen there with this D.Va duplicate, but the players are just lacking for Team Eclipse, as Scoob on D.Va are going to manage to hold on and has good ultimates to work with in this next engage.
Yeah, Team Eclipse just continued to commit ults to a fight where, I mean, they were trading. Scoob on D.Va and Team Eclipse were trading the whole time, but even so, Team Eclipse decided to pretty much use, they used 5 ultimates that fight, I think. And that, oh man, that is no good, especially when you look at Scoob on D.Va's economy and you see both support ultimates coming up, you see the D.Va bomb coming up. However, Team Eclipse is going to swap onto the Reaper here, going more brawly. However, I don't see much of an answer for Phone right now.
Oh, I mean, Phone just gets a kill. well, there's an attempt at a remake there for Baby Seal, and that's just enough to make it work. And that's the fight. Scoob on Diva just dominating here, just 3-20 now, is divided. I mean, Team Eclipse are just looking kind of lost.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the point of the Reaper, why you put him in here. You want to play a more brawly comp, you want to be able to have more short-range damage. But in the end, now without like the opposing Echo on the other side, there's really nothing on Team Eclipse that that will do anything about Phone. Phone is pretty much just free to fly wherever they want and just go all over the place and get all sorts of poke damage. As you can see, it's just the Moira trying to get a little bit of damage on her. It's just not good.
Yeah, dive onto the high ground now from Scoob on Divas, trying to make something happen. It makes it work, kill and still, and then we have the duplicate as well. This time onto the Winston instead of the Diva. Don't know if that was the intended target there. Anyway, Winston's still a good dupe target nonetheless, but Team Eclipse just had no players. The duplication didn't do a whole lot. But Scoob on Diva just doing a good job there. Eevee giving a quick dance.
Eevee does his little dancey dance again. Love it, love to see it. Good moves.
I mean, like, sometimes you see it to peek around corners, but Popo's just peeking that anyway, so it's just
okay, so now we're seeing... now we're seeing a lot of swap coming up from Team Eclipse. They're going with a much more traditional brawl comp, and this is kind of what I would want to see. Don't go half into this sort of dive brawl comp. Go full brawl, and see what you can do. You now have Soy Shine on the McCree to try and put some pressure on Phone. Good stuff, and there's enough time for them to build up ultimates before we get into overtime.
I mean, still just not been able to play the game. They've been on this Reaper for quite a while, and they just have not had a single Death Blossom. This is just Scoob on Diva pushing the aggression, keeping their foot on the gas, and forcing Team Eclipse to rethink their decisions.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to take that fight if you're Team Eclipse after you've done a wholesale comp switch pretty much. You were able to force out the support ultimates from Scoob on Diva, so that's really good. Whip will be coming back with the Beat, and you'll also be having Snall's Death Blossom available. Potentially going into what is probably the last fight, and honestly, Team Eclipse, this is a must-win if they want to stay in this series. They need to be able to cap this point with time.
Yeah, and then even if they don't, I mean, capping in overtime is just the bare minimum they can do. But stealth fake drops. There's a counter, Noon in, and it finds one, but Phone finds the kills. It's all it's still to try to make something happen. He's not able to. And Team Eclipse need to reset as quickly as possible if they want any more chances at this attack.
Yeah, now with 20 seconds left on the clock, Snall is going to swap onto the Tracer to just try and make sure we can potentially get someone to contest as we see the Tracer moving forward to get onto the point. Team Eclipse, they have tools. They'll have the Shatter online, they will probably have the Grav as well, and the Ant Matrix. Honestly, they actually have a slight ult advantage here. It's just a matter of putting a big fight together because we're in overtime.
Yeah, it's just the tag comes in from Snow. Phone? Oh, gets into the duplicate right before he dies. Phone uses that duplicate essentially so they not die, but they do drop eventually. But it will not matter because Scoob on Diva, the rest of Phone's team is finding the kills they need. So Team Eclipse are gonna need to try to hold Scoob on Diva, otherwise it will be knocked out of the playoffs.
Team Eclipse, their tanks die with their ultimates. That's just the worst case scenario. You need the Reinhardt and the Zarya to be able to stay alive long enough to at least get their ultimates off, and they were just short Team Eclipse because they were forced to rush onto the point in overtime. I think that sort of slow-paced comp that Scoob on Diva was running finally really paid off in this sort of situation where you're on a second point of 2 CP. All you really have to do is just hold one position on the map for as long as you can, and honestly, that kind of comp really excels at that. As now we see Team Eclipse, they have to full hold here. If they full hold here, we go to a map 5. There is, of course, the potential of a tie if they also full hold point B. However, Team Eclipse, I mean, they are backs against the wall, do-or-die situation right now. Their GitGud NA season on the line here, and they're going to be putting their faith into, I think, a soldier pick, which, ooh boy, consistent damage, but not necessarily the pick that I would go with in this situation.
I mean, the Sparkle Soldier won Dallas Field tournament, so who knows. Genji! From phone, they are quite a prolific Genji player. I do like the Genji pick. I'm a big fan of it. So this is kind of what we've been seeing a lot at the Overwatch League level, but still, Scoob and Diva are, for some reason, really like this on a Brig backline.
Yeah, the Ana Brig backline, it provides a ton of healing, a ton of support to the tanks as we see Scoob and Diva go on a bit of a journey around the map. Ubi Pro, this is actually really good from Scoob and Diva because no one has gone down yet, but they took a ton of damage, which means this is going to be an incredibly fast nano boost coming out from Ubi Pro.
That's a great D-Mech, though. But yeah, Ubi Pro, like you said, has that nano boost. Popo drops the. You can probably nano even. You can build up another one by the time Phone has Blade, but it looks like they want to save this. Phone has built up 70 with kill on a baby seal. Scoob gets cut out, though, so it's just like a very slow. It's a very slow fight. Nanobus, though, onto Eevee. Goes onto the high ground, tries to dive these snipers. Really nice coach gun. Oh no! Soyshed sets himself off the edge of the map with the coach gun used to boop away Eevee. And now they're just lost the player when they never should have. Phone tries to turn it. Gonna find one kill close to this nano. There's no, close to this blade, excuse me. No nano boost available, but not gonna need it. It's just the neutral damage is good enough.
This is disaster scenario right now for Team Eclipse. They need to be able to hold this second point for what is going to be over 5 minutes in order to stay alive, not even win, but draw and stay alive, where they're going to be playing into Phone's Blade, Eevee's Primal Rage, and Moity's Rally. I mean, the snowball potential here is quite immense, even if Phone isn't going to have that nano to increase their blade.
Yeah, there's gonna be a boost onto Stellafane, who tries to take the aggression and takes down Phone. The blade's not quite as good in this current comp, but due to the backline that Team Eclipse is running, it can get good value, but it's not even gonna get a chance to use its DPS Scoob and Diva drop.
Yeah, a good aggression there from Team Eclipse to stop the snowball. Eevee doing their little dancey dance once again. Gets antied for it. Oh man. I guess Clap isn't a big fan of that dance. But Scoob and Diva did not commit any ults. They know all they need is one good fight here, and they're going to have 6 ultimates on board this fight. This, I think, is where they're planning to move on in these playoffs.
Yeah, Blade comes out. Kill there onto Purple, though. Nano boost as well. 1 kill, 2 kills. High Noon comes through, though, as Team Eclipse are sustaining through this, and they're finding the kills. I mean, 4 ultimates used from Scoob and Diva, and only 2 kills found. Team Eclipse sustain through it and hold on.
Team Eclipse. I mean, that was a great bit of defensive work coming out from the 11th seeded team. Using several ultimates of their own, but key ones, the High Noon, the Bob, the Diva Bomb, all fantastic at area denial, which is what you need in this sort of situation. However, Scoob and Diva still coming in with a slight advantage here. They will have the rally still, and they will have the duplicate. Team Eclipse pretty much just working with the primal range of the nano boost.
Yeah, it's going to be a start off here for Scoob and Diva with the duplicate. And then Phone comes up big with 1 kill. Popo with the self-destruct, just waiting for the correct time to use it, and may never end up using it. Pops it last second. As down, they're going to try to come through with some extra aggression.
The Nano Mercy
drop, and they're finding the kills. The Resurrect was good enough to keep them in this fight, and then they find the kills after being down 2 players. How is Team Eclipse doing this?
Team Eclipse is doing this because they're doing a fantastic job of, again, that sort of area denial. Scoob and Diva continues to try and push in and find picks, but I mean, you need one really good, clean fight if you're Scoob on Diva. And they haven't been able to get that yet. They've been able to get picks, but Team Eclipse have been able to get picks back. And they know that Team Eclipse doesn't have to be perfect here. As long as they get a pick or two on the engage, they can rely on that defender spawn to get themselves the advantage in the long-term fight. As now we are down to 2 minutes, and Phone's already down. I mean, that's almost a fight loss already.
I mean, yeah, it really is. There's a Nano Blade, though, coming up from Scoob on Diva when they decide to go in next. And Purple will switch to a Widowmaker.
Yeah, the Widowmaker probably meant to help counter Soy Shine on the Ashe, which, to be fair, has gone pretty uncontested up on this point, up on the far high ground without much of a care in the world. As we saw Popple's Widowmaker do a lot of damage on Junkertown, but as you can see, it's so difficult to find sightlines in this situation. Let's see if this Nano Blade can get anything, though.
Yeah, it's gonna pop it. Finds... Oh, they don't touch!
Oh my gosh! Eclipse C9s and they're out of the tournament! Oh my goodness!
They just didn't touch!
Play of the game.
The Nano Blade, the Primal Rage, it forced Team Eclipse off of the point. They didn't realize... And that's it! Just like that, all of a sudden, my goodness. I mean, that was looking like another one fight for Team Eclipse. They had the picks, they had what they needed to win in the long term, but no one touched the point, and just like that, it's going to be Scoob on Diva advancing, and Team Eclipse goes home. Oh, that's such a terrible way to go out, Joe.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I jumped out of my seat there. I could not believe it. I mean, this is a tragedy. Scuba Diva will be advancing, though, to win losers round 3, where they have a chance, actually, to play Fish, who they played in their opening game, so could be a nice little fun rematch there. So, but yeah, it's Scuba Diva taking the series in after that first map was pretty dominant fashion, all things considered.
Yeah, Code's cutting out a lot here, so I'm just gonna say while he sort of fixes everything up, congratulations to Scoob for, man, I mean, what an ending to that game. That was absolutely nuts, but overall, I think we saw Scoob on Diva come out on top more often than not. They absolutely deserve to move on in the ELO Hell tournament. For Team Eclipse, put up a valiant fight, and they should be proud of how far they got.
Yeah, they definitely should be making it to playoffs of snow. Making it to this stage in the playoffs and looking as good as they did in most of their games is no small feat, but I believe that is it for us here in this opening game. We have another one coming up very shortly. It's going to be over in the rookie division in between Crimson Crusaders and Team Nipaclana. So yeah, you'll want to stick around to make sure to catch that game. But I am Jerizer, joined here by Divided, and we'll be taking a quick break. Then we will be back with our second series.